Guys, chicks dig big backs. I'm not talking about a lat spread. I'm talking about a nice, strong, chiseled back. And how do I know this? I actually just saw a couple of surveys that were put out to women, the body parts that they liked most on men. And in almost every single one of those surveys, it was a nice, strong back. Now, I know if you're a guy, the last thing that you're concerned about is your back, because guys only like to train what they see. And what do you see when you look in the mirror? You see your chest, your shoulders, your biceps. You don't see your back. You have no idea what it looks like unless someone takes a picture of you or you're caught in a video. Today, I'm going to go over 4 essential back movements that you're going to want to have in your program to have a nice, good-looking, strong back. Now, if you have trouble with any of these exercises, I'm going to show you substitutes for all of them, and I'm also going to give you specific cues on how to get the most out of each exercise.
Guys, we're going to work all 3 portions of the back, the upper back, the mid back, and the lower back. The first quintessential exercise that you need to be doing to get this done is the pull-up. I am going to quickly show you 3 different grips that I use in my pull-up program to get the job done. Now, just so you know, I typically work out with my shirt on. I really don't care to have it off when I work out. I do this so that you can see exactly what muscles are working during every part of the exercise. I'm going to start with the double overhand or the military grip pull-up. The great thing about all pull-ups is that they don't only work the back, they also work the front. So make sure that you are aware of your abdominals at the same time. I like to take a grip right on the bend of the bar, a nice strong grip. Relax my lower carriage and then screw my arms into my body. So I start by screwing the arms with my lats, big squeeze up, and you'll see it'll get all the way down to the lower back. Everything is contracted. I want to fan the lats out and I want to pull the bar down to me instead of pulling myself up to the bar. So I'm trying to pull it down and I'm getting a big squeeze each time. So if you master this one, you will have a nice chiseled back. Second grip, the parallel grip. Now the parallel grip works a little bit more the biceps. And this is where you can really get your abdominals involved if you want. So one of the things you can do is pop your hips forward. If you pop your hips forward, you'll see that the abdominals contract nice and hard. Pull all the way through. Again, you're trying to pull the bar down to you. Now I can also lift the leg, get my abs to contract harder, squeeze my back, lift the other leg, and that gets my weight forward, my hips engaged, which means my abs are engaged. And I can also do that both knees at the same time. The third and final grip that I use is the chin up. The chin up has much more biceps involvement. So if you're looking for a great biceps pump and abdominal pump and lat pump, the chin up is going to work for you. So we go with palms facing the back, same exact thing, screwing the arms in, keeping the hips slightly forward, lower carriage relatively relaxed, and I'm focusing on all of the muscles and how I want my back to look when I'm not doing pull-ups. Now, if you cannot do a pull-up or you have no desire to do a pull-up, the substitute or alternative is the lat pull down. So in order to accomplish the same type of grip that you did on the pull-ups or I did on the pull-ups, you can use a parallel grip. You can stick that up. You've got your chins here and you've got your double overhand. So we do this the same exact way. So when I talk about pulling the bar down to you on your pull-ups, it's the same exact thing when you do your lat pull down. So I'm pulling down. I'm trying not to use momentum and lean, but I'm squeezing, again, my back the exact way that I want it to look when I'm not exercising. The second essential exercise for sculpting a really good looking back is the cable pull down. Now you can use any grip you want. You can use ropes, you can use handles. I particularly like the straight bar. It targets my lats more, it allows my serratus to contract more, it tags my abdominals, and it really makes for a nice looking back if you get it right. I like to go with my elbows slightly fanned out. I don't want them all the way in like this, so when I fan my elbows out and then screw into my body, my lats engage. So when I pull down, I'm pulling from my back, I'm pulling from my lats, and I'm pulling from my serratus, and my abdominals are gonna be tight as can be. Now, some people like to take a big stretch up, that's fine. I like to stay loaded in the abdominal, so I only come up about shoulder height, maybe a little bit more. Big squeeze. I really wanna pin it against my hips so that I get a better contraction. Again, you have to think about squeezing from the back. I really don't want my arms doing a lot of work. I wanna make sure I pull my shoulders back as I go down in order to get the best contraction. And as always, I'm thinking about how I want my back to look when I'm just walking around. Now, if you don't have a cable station, a very inexpensive way to substitute, get yourself a pair of bands. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but it is gonna be pretty darn close. So you have to make sure that you get a band that has enough resistance so that you get the same type of contraction. So this is an extra heavy covered resistance band. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I have used these forever. They don't snap, and if they do, they snap inside the nylon sheath and you don't get whipped. The third essential exercise that you're gonna wanna do for a sculpted back is a row. I'm gonna show you a landmine row and a cable row. I've got my landmine attachment back here. I've got my close grip handle. This does work more legs at the same time, so you will have a better caloric burn if you do a landmine row. You wanna lean forward. This targets the lower portion of the lats, and you wanna make sure you maintain a nice, strong position, driving your wrists right through your elbows. So wrists driving through elbows, pull the shoulders back as you get to the top. That's what's real important, to squeeze nice and tight as you get towards the top. Hang all of the weight on the lats, make sure you're in a solid position, and squeeze back there. You don't want short, tiny reps in here. You want a big squeeze back, almost stretching the handles out. This is a fantastic landmine attachment. It locks on. I'll put this in the description. Stays on the entire time. Now, most of you probably will not have a landmine, so the seated row is a great alternative. I'm using a combo. It's a lat pull seated row combo from Rogue. This is the same exact idea. You want to squeeze all the way back, and when I come forward, I'm hanging all of the weight on my lats. You can take a little bit of a lean as long as you maintain the tension throughout the lats. So as I come forward, almost like I'm holding a bag of something heavy with my lats. Pulling the shoulders back. Again, we're gonna target the lower portion of the lats, rhomboids, the whole deal. So you can see exactly what's working the entire time. Don't shorten the reps. Make sure you squeeze all the way through to get the job done.
Now, the fourth and final essential exercise for building a strong sculpted back, I have saved for last intentionally because it's the most difficult and it's the most technical. You have to make sure that your technical skills are sound before advancing in weight during this exercise. It is, of course, the deadlift, and it's one of my favorite exercises of all time. Now, deadlifts are controversial. A lot of people think that if you do deadlifts, you're gonna hurt your back. And yes, you will hurt your back if you lift improperly. So that's why I say form is extremely important before performing a deadlift. Now, it's real important to warm up before deadlifting. I personally like to start with a lighter weight and then gradually progress until I get to my main sets. So one of the things people ask me, what do I attribute the success with my back development to? And I will tell you, besides pull-ups, it is definitely deadlifts. I started doing these when I was 40 years old, and it has done a tremendous amount for my back. Now, is it a leg exercise or is it a back exercise? It's a little of both. you really want to concentrate on the back, you screw the arms into the body as you drive the floor away. And you have to make sure that you finish nice and tall. So why do I love the deadlift so much? Because it builds muscle. It recruits a tremendous amount of muscle fibers. It grounds you to the floor. And it really allows for posterior chain work, so everything on the back side of my body from my neck all the way down to my heels. It's an extremely metabolic activity. That means it burns a lot of calories at the same time. And it saved my lower back. I've got degenerative discs in my lower back, L5S1, L4, L5, and I'm able to do more now at my age because I've worked on it for the last 12 years. And now my lower back doesn't give me any trouble at all. So with deadlifting, know your body. If you have trouble hinging, if you're real tight, you sit at a desk all day long, don't just run into the gym and throw 315 pounds on the bar and expect not to blow your back out completely. So understand your body, understand your limitations, and practice, practice, practice. So what should you do if you can't barbell deadlift? There are actually a couple of different options. You can use a trap bar or a hex bar. However, when you use the trap bar and hex bar, there is more recruitment in the traps as opposed to the back. The other options are using dumbbells or kettlebells. I personally think kettlebells are the easiest to use when it comes to mimicking the same form of a deadlift. So all you do is grab your kettlebells, again, engaging your back. So I've got my lats flared out against my triceps. When I come forward, the good thing about the kettlebells is I don't have to clear the knees the way that I did with the barbell. So I can come down, maintain a nice neutral position, all the weights on my lats, come up, squeeze extra tight. And you notice I'm on the side of my legs. If you have a dumbbell, you're gonna probably be like this, and then you run into having to clear your knees again. So the biggest issue with a barbell deadlift is that you've got to clear the knees on the way down. And a lot of people have trouble with that. You'll see people coming down and then stopping, sitting, coming forward, as opposed to the whole body. As you come down, I move around the bar rather than moving the bar around my knees. So pay attention to detail when you do any of these exercises and get ready for your back to grow. All right, guys, so now you are armed with an arsenal of 4 more exercises to include in your back program in order to have a strong, sculpted back, to have a back that others will envy. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Practice, practice, practice. I will see you all the next time. Let's go.